Dun, dun, dun. Oh, hi guys. How's it going? I guess we're live or something.
I mean, you did press the button. You're feigning
Did I,
ignorance,
though?
Stuart.
I don't know anything.
I feel like this is a bit, and by bit I mean a comedy segment, to lull the audience with false sense of security so they feel like they are friends with us. Am I correct?
Perhaps, yeah. They don't have to worry about nothing has to.
No, Fleet Ball's not necessarily here yet. We must still fear.
I know, but that's what I'm going to say. Like,
Yeah.
this episode might phase them a little bit.
Oh God. I want someone to supercut every time he's made that joke in the last 10 years.
I've never once said that.
Yes, he has.
No.
It's like I get PTSD flashbacks. A certain catchphrase like 10 years old. It's like, oh yep, oh, there it is.
Do you want to talk about the ring ship, Samuel?
Well, only if you can put a ring on it. You know,
there you go.
That was an important thing. Add a ring. He always does this little dance when he rings on it.
We've known each other too long. It's got to stop.
No, there's more Trek to come. Stranger World Season 3, Season 4,
Starfleet Academy.
Season 1, Season 2. Oh yeah, at
Strategy,
least
Season 3.
Star Trek Janeway?
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Glad you're here. Glad you could join us.
Hello.
Hello.
I like props in general.
Yeah.
Big fan of phasers. I have a lot. And part of my thing of Trek shorts, I like the excuse to have had to get lots of them. Oh no, I have to get the props. And now I have them to use in films. Oh, what a shame. So I have plenty. A couple of times I've taken people around, the studio space and the cameras who have come in, or local, whatever, like England local. And I always get everything out. And then I remember one particular chap who came in to film one of the Convergent shoots. I had a table because he came in a day early, all of the black muslin over it. I did it, whoop, and every single effect that I had in order with the tricords in between. And he was like, "Oh damn!" I was like, "Yeah." And then I pulled out the phaser rifles. I was like, "Yeah, here." He's like, "What? What?" So that was fun. Oh,
Bryce says, "Yay, my first ever live. Actually live. Hard to join from New Zealand with the time differences. Well, welcome, New Zealand. Glad you could join us.
Welcome. How long have you been watching? So it's 10 a.m. plus 13 from me. Gosh. Hi, welcome. How long have you been watching Trekyards? And now you know when we're live. You can join us every time.
Hello to the future. Hopefully it's a better day tomorrow."
Oh, I've made that joke so many times. Yeah. Right, I'm going to start showing with the people. Let's get people in to talk about this thing. Because there's some designs. There's some good designs. See you in a second.
Yes. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, we're talking about phasers today. You guys get to pick which phasers you'd like us to discuss, and we get to discuss them, rank them, put them on a tier list, and have some really good conversations, hopefully. So make sure that you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you click the bell notification icon to all so you don't miss any content from us. You do all the things that you need to do because YouTuber stuff, right? Also, you can join the channel. There's a join button down there. Join the channel on YouTube here, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. It's another way to support us kind of on a monthly basis. And again, it means the world. It helps us out immensely. It keeps us being able to have the ability to do this show for you guys. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Plus, you get your name in the credits. You get some cool, bonus stuff. You get the Discord server, all that stuff. So consider joining the channel, or at least looking at the options to do so. And we'd really like to welcome you to the Trekyards family. But even if you're just here and not joined, you're also part of the Trekyards family. So thank you so much, guys. We appreciate all of you. Also, don't forget there are links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. Really great merchandise there, both Trekyards related and non-Trekyards related. There are other things in the world besides Trekyards. But if you want to check out some really cool, geeky shirts and phone cases and all that kind of stuff, check out the TeePublic link. Lots of great stuff. If you use our link and you buy other stuff that's not Trekyards related, it still helps us out. So if you can, please do so. We'd appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what you guys pick up over on TeePublic.
Good quality merch. I know, every day pretty much.
Yes.
And guys, it is also my dad's birthday, the ambassador. So if everyone wants to wish me happy birthday in the live, I can send him to watch this after the fact. So do if you'd like to wish him a birthday, then do.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear ambassador. Happy birthday to you. There. That's my birthday song to him. I already wished him a happy birthday like early this morning. So he never responded back. So I see how it is.
A whole day of cooking. I'll say that he's doing a thing. So he's yeah.
The ambassadors, they're too important for us captains. They don't want to respond back to us. They got their diplomatic shit they got to take care of.
Until they need you, and then they take your ship and they take your crew. And no cares.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you said this already, but what's nice about these sorts of lives, when there's obviously the ones you think of, right? But I just want to challenge you all for phases that are the one-off, the variants, even like there's an episode of TNG where they use an old phaser and it's a bit grubby, etc. So there are certain one-offs that are kind of fun that also would be in this lineup. So the famous ones, and those of you that like to kind of throw us curveballs, the Type 1s count, the Type 2s, the prototypes, anything that's kind of human-made. I think we'll include Jack Crusher's phaser. There's a little bit of flexibility as long as it's not like alien design.
And no phaser rifles.
Yes.
That'll be a separate live because there's lots of those too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely. Slash! Happy birthday to a different generation. Huzzah! 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 And as I said in the pre-intro, Stuart, so we have different preferences on phasers. So how do you want to judge these in this particular one?
That's a very good question. I do have a lot of personal preference ones just from looks and whatnot, which we might not agree on necessarily.
And even compromising will end up skewing the board weirdly, like fully compromising.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure how to answer that question. I know you've probably held a lot more of these than I have personally. Like I've got a good phaser collection, but yours
very
is
good,
a little better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a very good question that I don't have an answer to. That's the end of the live. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, because you obviously prefer the more gun-like, and I like the gun-like, but I also like the more TNG style, which you don't. So that's obviously the skew right there. But you can't just go for iconic value because anything that's not the main three are going to be not iconic, right? So you can't go iconic. Powerful's irrelevant because anything newer is more powerful.
Yeah, and some that are newer haven't been seen as much as like the classic ones.
We could always go for like interesting design, where personal preference, where it's like how much is it, what's it doing design wise. Now simple can be good, but maybe it doesn't quite work compared to other ones.
Do you guys have any recommendations for what we should grade these on? Put it in the chat right now or super chat in.
Because how do you compare a Dustbuster to a TOS, as you can see there, right? Because you know what I mean. And I've held both. It does change when you hold these things. I've never held a Discovery one. But ordinary classics pre-Super Chat, which is a very, very nice of him, who's still traveling.
Yes. Classic for real, $30. He's our man. We love him. Still on the business trip, so I probably won't be able to view either. So here's a whole whopping $30 for Sam and or Stuart to show off a replica of either the worst ranking phaser on the list or the first F-tier phaser.
So I'll jump in with something I've sort of vaguely prepared. And again, let us know how we should review this for this one. So I want to bring, it's not I don't think this in the chart yet, but I want to bring out this one as the first thing I'm going to highlight. This phaser has confused me the more I've seen it or held it. Because if it wasn't in Star Trek Picard, you wouldn't say the Star Trek phaser.
No.
Because it does too many different things. Now, it's a fine design, but it just, like, having a physical, like, it's odd in a way that is not logically progressive. And, of course, every replica has the kill switch open, which is annoying because that's where kill comes out of. And it's a nice design, although it's just so blocky and like, the lines are so hard-edged. It's just so... It's so weird, and the more it's cool, but it's just so weird.
It feels to me and looks very Romulan.
Yeah.
Looks like a Romulan type design, because they had that little
thing
in front of the...
Okay, fine. If you want to go be technical, maybe Commodore O, who's a Romulan, started nudging designs to something she liked. I mean, there's a certain precedence, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's never been a favorite, but it's just odd. It's an oddity. Like if this wasn't here, there's something else going on, maybe. But yeah, confuses me.
Yeah.
Do you have any phase you want to bring out or talk about specifically? Is that a weird domain that we just?
I mean, I don't have any really.
I mean, a picture's fine.
But we got one that's not on your list.
Oh, that's fun.
It's the pewter phaser. The 25th anniversary pewter phaser from the Franklin Mint. It's solid pewter. It's heavy. Got a nice heft to it. Gold, silver. Looks really nice. The phaser one does come off.
It's like the bling phaser. The captain who wants a bit of bling.
Yeah, but it's got a really nice weight to it. Like you can imagine this being like the weight of a real one. But yeah,
and you can
Franklin Mint did some good stuff back in the day.
I feel like everything's slightly off proportion wise, but in a pleasing way. If that makes sense.
It is, yeah. It's a little misproportioned, but it feels and looks really good.
Yeah.
And it's always behind me here. You never really see it, but it's always on display.
It's exactly in the spot.
Shooting out all these blue. It's like leaking. I'm sorry.
You got it from you got it from Starbase 80. I've told you, Stuart. Yeah. Don't bring Star.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So anyway, back to what we were talking about. You wanted me to bring one in that we could look at.
I mean, in a similar vein, maybe something you also are confused by, because I thought one that maybe has not aged as well, or classic, throw in a very generous intro, and like I said, want people to throw in their fives, throw in a phase to talk about, throw in one that you're intrigued by, or like I said, maybe don't like as much when you first saw it, or something with different opinions.
Okay. Sounds like a challenge.
Bring some phases, guys. Any variation, 5 or more. We'll get in there.
Okay, I'm going to bring in one that I think is going to be interesting to discuss, because you've already said that I like more gun-like ones. Yet I'm going to bring one in that I despise. And I think you like this one.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes against what you said. I don't like this one. This feels too janky to me. Feels too sci-fi and not Star Trek-y. And I'm pretty sure that you're a fan of this one. So I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying it's one that I don't understand the design of the weird hole, or the negative space, the lack of the bottom of the guard for a trigger guard. Why is that there? It feels like a mishmash of shapes slapped together. So,
which is appropriate because it's the first pulse weapon cutting edge, right? It actually is a gun. Yeah. And the way they frame it, even the cargo people use them. So this is like properly, a gun but laser form. And I imagine everything there is just to keep it working. The phaser is an elegant evolution, so it fits, right?
Yes.
Oh, I always wish this is a 3D model. I always wish there's a bit more detail on the inner grey segment, because it's so like. I guess you can have a cult, which is very simple, but it's just the most metal. It's a 3D rendering, but it's definitely more Lego-y. But when you see it in the show, you don't think that, because they're real hero props, right? But when you look at the prop, it's like they drew out a gun and stuck with. I love the shapes, and I think they're really interesting with the little grilling at the front, and the fact the rifle and gun are so connected, and the little Johnny style thing at the front.
This is something I can see in the Alien universe, like the sidearm for the Marines, the Colonial Marines. The handle always bugs me because it's not ergonomically designed, but it's straight. Like there's no bulge, there's no little spot for your palm necessarily. Not a big deal. It's just compared to other firearms and other phasers that we see on this list.
Although it said that, and the Cardassian phaser looks horrible and it's comfortable. So I wouldn't doubt this thing is fully comfortable. I don't think it'd be made that way if it wasn't, right? I think it would be comfortable.
I'm sure it's super comfortable to hold.
Just looks different.
It just looks basic. It looks like a water gun handle. Like not really thought out too much.
It needs the wood of a Colt.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like I said, this is meant to be the proto phaser. So everything you said there fits with, it's just a 2050 gun.
Yes.
So yeah, it's perfect, right? Exactly as they. And how do you design a pre-phaser that's not a phaser? Works for me.
That's what I would do. Something that still looks like a handgun, a firearm, but is futuristic enough that it could still have a gun-like quality to it. So that's what I would do. You asked,
but
they did it.
But then design one before, right? That's the point. You keep going back and back and back.
Well, one before would just be a firearm, like this. That's how it looks. So sure, there you go.
That's going to be a laser firearm point. Okay, so let's see who says what, and let's see where this debate goes. Because we only talk about them if you put them in, guys. So throw them in. Who have we got then?
Do we want to rank this one or just throw it off to the side?
No, it's a discussion. We're discussioning. He said
no.
show stuff.
He said also possibly the first F tier.
Oh.
Do you want to pull in one that might be an F tier? That we can talk
I
about?
mean, this one.
Oh man, I love that one.
It's just so blocky. And it's so similar to this. There's all the same problems.
Yeah. But it looks so comfortable. I love the design of this. And it's much better than this one, in my opinion.
Well, one's generic sci-fi, one's retro gun shooty blaster.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, which is a good thing because it's a proto phaser.
Yeah.
Versus just a water gun.
This thing I like. This is not at all an F. At least for appearance wise.
Look at the rest of the... Dear me.
I don't know. We're gonna fight.
Oh, dare you.
I didn't want to fight.
Because even the cage rays I wouldn't give an F to.
Yeah. I mean, there's one that might.
And I guess the original JJ phaser, because it's just dumb looking.
Just
but it's so much sleeker and more elegant than this, which then makes it feel cooler.
So you think this one?
No, the actual the main phaser. So that's just a chrome. It's just a hot rod. Like that wouldn't be made. It just the Beyond one's much better because they gracefulifies it.
Well, first of all, let's inform everybody. What is the one that we're looking at? What is it from?
So the big chunky boy is from Star Trek Beyond. It is the Section 31 phaser, which you can't see in the film except in a holster. So fair enough, you don't know it. This is from the prop. And then the chromium is the 2009 version of the JJ phaser, replaced later by the Beyond version, which is significantly just sleek, repainted, but in a far more, for me, it just works. And the limit is smaller. Well, let's not debate on Fs then. We'll go backwards and go. Well, maybe some contrast would help.
Sure. Let's smooth these out then. All right. Let's see what's up first. Olivia, $5. Kelvin Timeline Phaser, Star Trek 2009.
There you go, chromium.
See, the thing is, I've seen the toys that these. I mean, this actually looks like one of the toys. I don't know. Yeah, they look cheap. The flippy thing for the phase stun and kill is silly at best and gimmicky.
Shred body, yes, indeed.
And this feels very generic sci-fi with the colors, the blue and the red stuck in there, and the chrome. It just doesn't feel Star Trek. It doesn't have that detail that a lot of phasers do.
Which is funny because they sort of are trying with some of the back bits to give it the phaser. Yes. And if you squint, it's the Star Trek 6 front, like the way it's... You know what I mean? There is... Yeah. I can see but they've gone hot rod. I mean, this absolutely is like the sports car version, if you take away the need for it to be a normal phaser car, etc.
And Bradley Leonard said the hero prop of this looks a bit better, I will say. Well, we've actually talked to Ken Palco, who built these. He also built the ones for the second film. I actually was speaking to him yesterday, by the way. Yeah, he built them. They do look a little better, honestly, but they still, I don't know. There's something about them that just feels Flash Gordon-y. maybe, or like Captain Proton-y.
Well, it's style over substance,
Yeah.
and the flipping was obviously dumb.
Yes.
I mean, like, I would have been fine in the abstract if it like if there was 2 meters that one went lower and higher, so it was like neatly in and just raised and lowered. But flipping is obviously ridiculous, and it wastes over half the body. And you have 2 settings. What? Or if the nozzle changed color, if there's one nozzle, and that would even be dumb. But it's like, okay, fine. The crystal changes to blue and red, orange, right? Could have been kind of fun. Hello, Devereaux. Hello. So try to work out how we judge these.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we could judge how it fits into its appropriate era or time, but that's also... They're all sort of designed to, in theory. Cultural significance, again, that's going to be variable.
Schmobuddy says it looks like a cheap light and sound toy.
This one is.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find an actual picture of the prop. Okay, guys, have your final say. How do you want us to rate these for this final number while I find this prop? 9 prop. I would like to hold those, in fairness. Okay, so that's an actual version. That was easy. I do like when they sell things at auction. It makes finding reference a lot easier.
Yes. 37 of you here and 26 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
And in fairness, this is almost a separate metric. And I'm intrigued by this, because I don't remember it looking like this. Because obviously, it's like if you were reviewing a TOS prop now or in the 60s, they would have differences because, you know, time has passed. So it's always a little bit like, well, did it look like that on the day? So this, apparently, is an auction-based sale one. It ain't shiny at all, really. And the blue is not blue. It's got a different nozzle. The other one just has the same nozzle in 2 colours. So I'm a little bit confused. And the handle's black, maybe? It says 2009, though.
Well, it instantly looks better. Immensely better. Wow.
It's a solid resin phaser, so it's not one of the heroes. Came with the holster, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So which one do you want to judge? The one that looks better?
I think both is kind of funny.
Okay. Well, I mean, the cheapy looking one should at least be a D. No higher. I don't know.
Things I mean, okay. Is there any bad phaser design? Because that's also something to come by. Because I don't look at that and I think F, because it's an okay design. It's just not. As we see later on, there are better things. Like, it's not good, but it's not bad. So might be no Fs then, right? Because maybe every phaser has its own unique charm. You know?
I'm sure they all do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go for a D then for the toy, the straight off the production line one.
Yeah, it's a good way to start. Let's get that over here.
But I've never seen that shot of the other one where it's all, you know, not rusted, but it's been degraded.
It definitely looks better.
Yeah.
I actually really kind of like the look of that one. The gimmicky thing of it's still flipping takes away from it a little bit, but it's like, which Kyber crystal do we have loaded today, guys? The red or the blue?
But actually, I do not mind the black handle. That works reasonably well. And the emitter blends in better. The red is still garish, obviously. If you just photoshopped that out, made it one piece, the emitter at the front, you'd be like, oh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But knowing what it does is part of it. But I guess go for a C, because it does look substantially better. And see where we go from there.
Yeah, that's fair. Although I really like the looks of this one. I'm really kind of impressed, actually. So, I know the phasers did improve between the first movie and the second.
Because it also is hiding the fact that it's clear on a material that you can see through it. You can see where you should be able to see through it. And if your brain saw that, you'd be like, why is there a hole through the phaser? That's hiding it a bit.
All right. And then Olivia, $2. Phaser into darkness. Phaser in the darkness.
Which is the same phaser. Beyond they changed.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we just did 2, right? There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine.
And Bryce with 10 New Zealand monies. Anyway, glad you're here, Bryce. Disco Phaser. I love a weird love-hate favorite of mine. Chunky and buzzy, although a shame it went pew-pew instead of a beam. I assume you mean this one. That we were going to actually get one from McFarlane Toys, and I was excited because I kind of like the design of this one. This is a nice marriage of the cage design, which came before it, and the TOS one, which came after it. The emitter seems a little large and clunky on the front, but it's got 3 emitters. It's meant like the cage one to be able to turn. Yeah. And it looks weighty, it looks hefty, looks sturdy.
It doesn't look very plasticky, though, in fairness. I mean, polymer, but it does look...
Yeah.
But that's, sci-fi. As in, like, sci-fi materials of plastic. You get some fancy plastic.
I like the colors on it. I like the addition of the gold. But, I mean, that matches their uniforms in Discovery, so it kind of makes sense. There's also a big delta on the top of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. Yay! Yeah. That works.
It's facing the wrong way, too. It's facing towards the enemy.
And it's also split because fuck them.
Where'd you get that one? Is that a printed one?
Yeah. Shall I talk about it in a minute?
Is it the correct size?
No.
Yeah, because those are big. They've overscaled them. Huh. So yeah, this is one that I was excited to finally get. Farley Toys made it, and they were, I was ready for pre-order and all that, and then they just dropped it, and it's like, oh, that's kind of a shame.
With a stupid excuse of it's a gun. It's like,
is it though?
If you think that, then you got problems because it's a gun phaser. They're different. Yeah, and I have a 3 print, and I've never used it because it is like 30% too big, and it just feels silly because sizing's very important. These things, as we know from physically seeing all the props in person, instantly you get the real one. A design that you think is a bit silly can feel perfect because guess what? Every single one of these props is designed to perfectly fit in the hand and work as a tactical weapon. They're not the toys, they're not 3D prints you might have bought as a fan who's guessing. Every single one is designed to be good. In their microcosm, right? It's just, etc.
Does the one you have the secret function? You just hold it backwards and it's like a super powerful weapon?
No, I asked that feature off. I saved $10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
So
dangerous from what I hear.
So this for me is a real conflicted phaser because it comes with a lot of baggage with Discovery, of course. This was promising in a show that's not good, and it's conceptually great, but it's just, it's covered in all the sludge of what else was, and the fact that we never saw it used in a meaningful way, meaning we never got the type 1 coming out with the TOS systems. We never got the cage try whatever doing anything like a scene of doing this, all the things that they could have done with it. It just became a gun and bland, right? So it's a good phaser in sort of style only, but its substance is kind of missing. And had it been a better show, this would have been amazing to see. Take this version and then iterate the colors into TOS. Like every season, they just repaint the prop, and it would eventually get there, and it would be, because it does kind of feel like the tactical phaser, right, with a very grippy handle. And I could honestly see it being a TOS tactical phaser if the cage is not necessarily a more efficient emitter, but more flexible emitter, right? But all those things it could have added aren't in there, right? So the legacy of it kind of pulls it down a bit for me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And no solid beams from this one, as Joshua Irwin says. It's another pew pew phaser.
That is true.
Pew pew pew. I mean, I don't have an issue with that if it's a setting, but I really prefer beam from a phaser. Always have, always will.
And you never forgive them for the Death Fuel phaser. So I'm gonna say, put it as a C because I think there'll be distinctly B's over this, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Because actually, I think it's quite comparable to the one in C. I like, again, a bit of baggage on Discovery, but I think there are Bs that this will look less good compared to, I think. But there might be some moving once we get things in.
Okay.
Boy, we're alternate universing today. Ain't no problem yet. And we do encourage Type 1s and every random variant.
Do your thing, chat. All right, Mark Lawrence, $5.
Hey,
don't know why, but I like the TNG cricket phaser.
Mm.
Load up a belt full of them and chuck some on overload at your enemies.
Oh, wow. That's a fan by itself, Mark. Jesus. Whoa. I need phasers. Lots of phasers. And it's just these. And yeah. Mark, you sold it.
That's a great strategy.
Now, have you ever held a screen accurate size one of these ever?
I don't believe so.
Okay, because the toy version is horrendous. It's
yes,
like
the toy one's way oversized.
So it's kind of until you like see the real size, it's a little bit different. But your thoughts on the Type 1 TNG phaser, which you can be forgiven for not even recognizing, because it's in the palm of their hand, so small that it looks like coming out their thumb.
I think it's fine. I mean, this was one of our first phasers we got in TNG, and it was deliberately kind of called out that it looks like they're firing beams from their fingertips because it was so small and compact. So they made bigger phasers after that looked more like actual things that you're holding. So it's fine. I wish there was a phaser 2 that it could lock into, though. Would have been kind of neat to see, but not necessary. Like, this is very much just more stylized, futuristic phaser 1, right? So I like the idea behind it. I like the compactness of it. It is the future. You know, smaller is better. You can conceal this better. There's a lot going for it, tech-wise, and I get that. Visually, I mean, it's definitely a new era of Trek at that point, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of cool that they've upgraded those. You know, you don't need a handle anymore. Very ergonomic with the way it's held, I'm sure. It's flashy, got lights. I think it's cool. And I wouldn't mind getting one of the good quality prop ones, but they're super expensive.
Which is funny for such a small prop.
So, yeah, but it's one I wouldn't mind having. So,
yeah, I think all the early era TNG people tend to look down on, unless they love it, until they see it physically. Just like with the Voyager phaser, the reality is different to what you think. And this is such an interesting piece because this is when we move from phasers as weapons, because Cold War and negative, to phasers tools. Because this is not really a weapon, it's an everything. Right? It feels like a tool. You can put it in your pocket, put it in your sock, pull it out. You can phaser somebody or heat some rocks or melt some metal, or right? So it doesn't feel aggressive, and it really shouldn't. It represents Starfleet we've miniaturized the tech so well, because this can do everything, you know, anything a TOS phaser can do, but 1/5 the size. Probably the battery life, fine, but you know, and it's a very neat prop. I've got a size accurate, and it's surprisingly comfortable, because you know your thumb goes into the fire bit. It's exactly like there's a logic behind it, because of course there is. You know, it looks, you know, sci-fi and advanced-y, and yeah, a neat little prop.
Yes.
Where are you thinking? Where would you put a gut reaction?
Gut reaction for me for this one is probably actually an A. Just because all the reasons I mentioned. It was TNG. It was like years after. It was advanced tech, and so small yet so powerful.
The irony is, it looks nicer than Dustbuster until you realize how small it is, right?
Yeah, but the Dustbuster's so fucking ugly.
Well, but like, you know, this is a more cohesive design. If it was a bigger phaser somehow, if it just made this bigger, it might have worked better, right?
Possibly.
Because it's a neat design. It's just really small.
But I like the idea of the small. So yeah, I'm throwing out like a low A kind of situation.
Yeah, I was thinking B because it's neat. I mean, hey, put an A and see where it goes. Because it is, yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, I think a hero version would look very nice.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Throw it in the regular chat right now. What do you think it should be, A or B? And if you can lock it in with a super chat if you want as well. But yeah, my original thought was B, and then I'm like, but it's so
Clever.
It's so to the point.
Yeah.
It does exactly what they wanted it to do. So much so that it was so small that they didn't even show it after a certain point because it's like it's too small. And one of the complaints was it looks like they're firing beams out of their fingertips.
And Gorgonzola points out it was then used by Chakotay, 8472's biohabitat, because it was he got through and was neat. Yeah, it became a sort of stealth thing.
Yeah.
And it is a very faithful feeling TOS Type 1 extension of Next Generation, right? It is exactly what you feel like. And it would have been cool to see, like you said, a version of the prop, a version of a prop which had some element of interconnectivity. It's like the Star Trek 6 does have a Type 1, but it's used 0% of the time.
Yeah.
Sure, put it at A for fun legacy.
Let's see what you guys are saying. First of all, real quick, we got Bradley A, Gorgonzola A, Colin Summers A, ISFJ B, Blake Giles A, and Dave Moon B. So yeah, the A's are winning out. We'll put it up there for now.
Yeah.
With all things that we do with these tier lists, it could move at some point. We will have to see. And of course, you guys can move it up or down a tier if you choose to as well with a $5 super chat. So,
as you guys know.
But for right now, we'll put it at A.
It would be interesting though to be in a household in the 80s when someone asks, "Are they shooting from their fingers, Dad?" "I don't know, son. It's only 4 pixels wide on the screen." "Oh, I don't know. Oh, okay." You know. It's kind of easy to tell, but...
Well, I mean, unless you're a moron, you know they're not fighting, just shooting from their fingertips. So, I grew up watching this. I was like 14 at the time, and I knew that they weren't firing from their fingertips. Like, so I don't know what to tell you. That's more than 4 pixels, I think. Although, some shots maybe it's 4.
Yeah, I mean the wides I was referring to. Alright, next. Not the obvious ones either.
Schmobuddy, $5. Kirk's phaser in the Wrath of Khan when he zaps the brain bug. Always liked that it shoots like 4 or 5 little beams. I don't know why.
Oh, the brain bug.
Yeah, I have one of those.
That's what you were saying there. No, I know what you mean.
This is it here. They had the exact same one in the motion picture, but different colors.
And I believe the ring is not reflective. I believe it's just static. I believe.
I can't remember. I have the Star Trek 2 one in my collection. I don't have the motion picture one. I've always wanted to grab one. And yes, it's actually very cool. The phaser one is the front half of it comes off, and it's got a nice little interlocking like zink when it snaps on. And you're right, the beam for the different settings either has 1 or 2 lights and then up to 4 for like the kill or disintegrate, and also different pulsing patterns for each one. So it's quite interactive and cool looking from the front because there's a lot going on there. The buttons on the top, the mode select, all very cool as well. They kind of got tracer lights on them, and then you select your level, and then it'll stop at the level, like if it's 2, and then the other 2 will keep flashing. We got a big main one at the back. And yeah, the trigger is very integrated into the front of the design. It looks a little silly, but it feels really comfortable to use. And it's like a plate. It's not a trigger. It's not like the TOS one that has like the stick that pushes in. This has like the full front plate is kind of like a trigger.
But why is there a nipple?
That's where your finger rests, very comfortably so.
But why not just a flat plate?
Because then you don't know your finger's on the trigger. I don't know. But I like it. I do really enjoy this design. Like I said, it's one of my most unique phasers that I have. I'm not the biggest fan of the look of it at first when I first saw it, but that's one of those things when you get it and you hold it, you like it feels really comfortable and like surprisingly so. And also, the phaser one detachment thing is quite unique.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the handle looks. I mean, you talk about the one from Mako. That looks so unergonomic. It's just like a flat, bulky thing. But I've held them and they're absolutely fine. It's amazing how the hand just kind of like it can form around anything almost, so it doesn't look good like the Cardassian phaser, right? Yeah, I think this is an interesting hybrid. It is very TMP, right?
Yeah.
It's got the creamy silveriness, but the money to have all blinking lights, which are well organized, ordered, whatever. Yeah, the sci-fi back button. I've always liked having the. I did go back and look. Yeah, the TMP is just flat. They get more details for those hero shots, right? So I like the sort of reflective stuff. It's it doesn't look aggressive. That's important, right? It's a handled phaser versus a gun, and I believe, yeah, there was a version of this that was sketched, which was holdable by the back. I believe Andy sketched that for TNG with the same front. So you've seen it like with the TNG version, but as you say, if you take off the top bit, it becomes a Phaser 1 kind of anyway. Yeah, and I really do like the fact that it's a long stretched emitter. That's really unusual. It's not just a gun tip. It's doing something that's not just a gun, which phasers shouldn't just be a gun in the general sense. So this is a really interesting hybrid of it's not aggressive, but it's a weapon tool. Yeah, it's a nice hybrid.
So it's got a nice wide beam, or can have a nice wide beam.
Looks cool on screen, yeah.
Like as we've talked about many times when we talk about phasers, they're more tools than they are weapons because it's Starfleet. They don't want to just shoot things and kill them. That's why the JJ ones are kind of problematic. Stun and kill. I mean, there's so many different settings on the TOS one. There's 10 different settings at least. And, you know, so for heating things up, for cutting through things, like they're multi-purpose tools.
Well, because how many times in a month are you going to shoot something or someone on Starfleet?
Oh, exactly, yeah.
But on away missions, you're going to be doing things with it. Like, you don't carry knives with you, you carry phasers. Phasers can cut things, and yeah, exactly. It's a tool.
Yeah. So yeah. Where do we place it?
Gorgonzola. Commander, it'd be impossible to look aggressive while you're wearing a TMP uniform, no matter what your face looks like. Yeah, I would go straight to a high A for this. Because I think it has a real sleek, advanced feel that they certainly move away from. But I like the minimalist sleek. And I think this would be super easy to up detail a little bit and look modern. Like, it would take so little. Just tweak the handle a bit, add a few little things at the back, but it's really close, I think, to a modern design as well.
Also, one of the cool things I would have liked to have seen is this would be easily integratable into like a phaser or like a rifle design, a phaser rifle, because of the shape. Like you elongate that shape, you add another handle at the back, like the TNG one. You know, and it would look really. You could make this look really sexy. I'd love to see a rifle version.
Josh, get on it. Who's in the chat?
Yes, Josh. What the hell, man? All right. Yeah, I was thinking A also for this, so that's good.
Feels advanced.
Does.
All right, who's next? I want to say, where do we go? But we have no say in this. They pick where we go. So where are we going?
Well, where Sergeant Montgomery tells us to. It was in $5. So thank you, Sergeant. And says 32nd century hand phaser that can extend into a rifle. There's no argument. S tier.
Can't extend to a rifle probably, but okay.
32nd century.
Sorry, it can extend to a rifle. You're right. I was thinking.
I don't even know which one he's talking about.
The shark phaser, I think is what they call it. The Discovery one.
Oh, this one?
Yes. I think it's the
Galaxy Quest phaser, the Orville phaser.
Yeah, it can have. Yeah, God, they did that, didn't they?
It's exactly what it looks like. It feels like it's one from one of those other franchises. It does look really cool and sleek. I don't remember turning into a rifle though.
Very infrequent, but it was like a last season thing. Yeah, it was weird.
I must have been totally zoned out at that point because that seems like a cool feature that I would think would be cool. I mean, it's funny because we go from TOS to the movies to TNG, and in TNG they're like, "Hey, we got new technology. Check out this little cricket. This is like more powerful than your old phasers. Smaller, sleeker design, way different looking. 900 years in the future from TOS, you get this, which is just clearly another gun design. I wish it would have been something different. They had transporter technology, tricorder technology, all contained in a comm badge. And I know that these like appeared out of nowhere, which is cool.
Oh, little gauntlet things, yeah.
But to still be using a generic gun type design seems a little odd, considering the jump to TNG, which is 80 years, whatever, has such a new and interesting like take on what this multi-tool for Starfleet would look like. And it wouldn't initially look like you're holding a gun. So I don't know. That's one thing that kind of stands out to me, but thoughts.
And it's funny you mentioned multi-tool. I don't think you've seen the show Continuum.
No, I have not yet.
Yeah, really great show, excellent music, and it got cancelled a few years ago. It got cancelled, and then the fans brought it back for a half season. Feels cheaper, but that's fine. They finished the story. And it's about a cop in the future who gets sent back in time. Story ensues. But because they actually need her to be advanced in the past, they gave her a physical metal, like a suit, which can do cloaking and some other things. And her gun is just a handle. And it shifts, like she can change it, like Judge Dredd's gun, but it's just a handle. It can become a weapon or a taser, or it'll change slightly depending on what you need. So it becomes a tool, and even just it by itself, it can, like before the gun comes out, it can inject you with it. Like it becomes a really, really useful tool. That's what this could have been. And given that they like having shifting technology, it could have been just a handle, and could have been 5 different guns, right? But I guess they just done that on Continuum. It was great. So yeah, definitely.
Before you jump in with yours, real quick, Riley Leonard says the Nemesis phaser looks light years more advanced than this. The handle is such a step back. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you.
Well, Nemesis looks like a epitome of that style, but this is a different style.
Yes, well, absolutely.
Right. So they all look more advanced than the Star Trek 6 phaser, but it's not trying to look advanced, trying to look tactical, right? So everything's skewed, right? Different phases are weird in that way, right? Yeah, this is definitely Orville. Straight out the gate, but it isn't not advanced looking. It's just, and I don't mind the fact that there are hero versions people have made where those little side things are light and looks kind of cool. They can shift, and every time I fire, they light, which is fine. But it's just a bit flat. It is sleek, and it'd be great for a random sci-fi show, right? Like a really solid phaser. But in the Pantheon, it's like it's okay. It's like it's got less. This is another thing about design work. It's less interesting than the JJ phaser, but it's less bad than JJ phaser, and it's boring better than bad. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Like I don't dislike it, but I've actively not bought one. I could have bought one several times. I was like, I don't need one. And you know me in phasers, right? Also hard to incorporate in Trek short experience in the future. It's okay.
It could be something thrown back in time, and somebody finds it and goes, "What's this?" Carbon dating indicates 32nd century.
And this is the problem, right? Like, I know you dislike it, but the Time Cop 29th century phaser for me feels way more advanced. It's doing something sci-fi and different. You don't understand it. This is just an Orville phaser. It's so normal. Even the triggers, whatever. What are you thinking?
I was thinking probably a C, right alongside the JJ ones.
Yeah.
And the Discovery.
Yeah. But I do think it had just been a handle and the top shifted based on what they needed, so you had like 4 or 5 different gun attachments, then it would be a B, because like that's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be an F in this. Like, truly, though.
I don't think there will be.
Because most phasers are decent, just not personal love. All right. Interesting. Love it.
Except we got our last of the Super Chats so far, so if you want to throw one in, please do so. We'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Because there's a lot more to look at. But we got Schmobuddy with $5.
Thank you.
DS9 phaser rifles. They have 4-grip, ambidextrous controls, integrated targeting sights. Always like them, even though they're just giant hand phasers. Yeah. I have one in the other room, actually.
I like yours more than mine as well. It's cool.
Do you?
Well, yeah, yours has got the cool features. Mine's just a basic print. Yeah.
I should go get it, even though we're not talking about rifles.
But he does correct himself later down the chat.
Does he?
Yes.
What does he say?
Trekyards, if our rifle chat is off limits, I request to change to the Star Trek 6 Gorkon Killer. Now he's pandering to the crowd. Ooh, Benjamin, right. I'll get you an F. Okay. Do it. And like I say, be creative, guys. We are slightly liberal in this one. As long as it's like human-made. I mean, would we... Well, I say that. Would we include the Varion T? It's not... I mean, he's... But no, he is an alien. He's an Elorian. He's just human-looking. Yeah, there we go. Distinction.
What about Soren's thing? He's human.
That's what I was referring to.
Well, oh.
He's the Elorian.
Yeah.
6, Star Trek 6. Go for it, Stuart. And now you've got some contrast.
I have one of these in the other room. I feel like I'm going to go get phasers after I talk about this.
Yes. And if I recall, yours is a little bit too small and you prefer it.
Yes.
So I've got a proper size. It's real big.
Yeah, the proper size is quite large. But this is one I really like. And I think this is one of the reasons you say that I like ones that look like firearms more than... It feels like a gun. It feels something tactical. It feels... There's even a clip in the bottom, or magazine. It's just the battery pack. But it's also got the slide function, which is very... very firearmy. The color's great. Go ahead.
Well, in fairness, the slide is just there to cover the fact that Type 1's in.
Yes, I know.
It doesn't cock the gun, which would be crazy. I mean, no one's crazy enough to make a cocking Star Trek gun.
Have you seen
Beverly?
Well, and Enterprise, their phase pistols are basically a break action. Put in the power pack.
That's not cocking. It's like a clip.
Well, it's a break action. It's like a break action shotgun. Yeah.
Well, sure, but it's not for every shot.
No, it's not. Yeah, I really like the Star Trek 6 tactical phaser. It is one of my favorites. I do think it is a little oversized, but I mean, they were also in spacesuits with bulkier gloves, so it kind of worked and didn't look bad. But I think for regular use, the handle is still super comfortable, even at that larger size. And yeah, you've seen the one that I have. It's a little bit smaller. It feels very good in the hand. Like, it feels like it would be an improvement over this one in a way.
Well, it does feel too small, but it feels like a handgun because of it.
Yes.
Like, the distinction is so interesting. It's just shrunk a little bit. It's really, really interesting, yeah. Like, it feels great. It's just too tactical almost.
Yeah. I also like all the details on this. The fins at the back, the little knob thing that looks very TOS-like. The emitter's an interesting shape as well. It does literally have a trigger, though. TOS was slightly different because it had like that cylinder, the barrel that was the trigger. This has a trigger. And again, a lot of them do, so I mean, it's fine. But I kind of like TOS for being a little different in that regard. And not the Playmates TOS one. That's literally a trigger. It's a little cylinder that you pull back. It doesn't push in like it's supposed to. Fucking annoys me. Who made the one for you, Captain? I got it off of Etsy. I'm gonna go grab it while you talk about this.
Excellent. And I've got a mass replica one that these are very expensive to get a good one of these phasers, as everyone knows. I managed to get a bottom dollar one because the case was damaged and it missed the plaque. So resale value, it's basically not worth a lot. I think I paid almost half, but I wanted it as a film prop, and the physical thing works great. And then it cracked even more on arriving. So I've got it in the other room, but it's under boxes because I don't use it very much. It's in a giant box because everything's like branded. Yeah, big phaser. It is such a unique piece. It's got to be one of the most famous phasers because, of course, it has the Gorkon phaser scene. So it is visually, we all know this phaser, even though it's in Star Trek V, in a relatively cool moment when you see a very well tracked phaser. Sulu does this, and it fires up, and it's a really well tracked beam, but it's so the compositor must have hated George Takei. Oh god, that's small. I forgot.
It fits and it's so comfortable.
And the emitter's real wrong. Like it's bumpy in a way. Yeah. If that was like $20, everyone should buy like 5, so you just go out and play with your friends.
Yeah, I think it was 35.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much I paid
small.
for it, but yeah, I would love to have it side by side with the actual one because the other one's like this tall.
I'd say it's about 35% smaller, is my guess.
Yeah, this feels so comfortable in the hand. And look what I found.
Yeah. That does look silly though, the back bit when you take it off.
Well, that looks incredibly stupid, but it's such a cool connection feature.
Goodness.
So,
which brand is that? Which make?
This is Diamond Select.
If I recall, it's very expensive now.
Probably. The motion picture one's way more expensive. That's why I haven't got it yet. This is the Wrath of Khan style, which is not really a gray. It's kind of got a coppery tone to it.
Yeah, I mean they did repaint them every time, which is fine.
And the motion picture one's more silver.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Different movie. Anyway, so Star Trek 6 Phase, I kind of held off because you weren't here. Yeah, I mean it's obviously tactical. Is it the most unique phaser here? Maybe. It's the only one we don't know what the standard phaser looks like in this era. All we see is the one that they pick called an assault phaser. Now, of course, in 6, it's also in the kitchen. So I don't know if they're going to have the assault weapon in the kitchen. The ball might have just the phasers. So it kind of, skews a little bit, right? In like, is it all the phasers? Maybe. Calling it assault phaser is a bit dodgy if it is, but whatever.
Well, it's older tech, so it's just one that you get bought off some civilian randomly that's old stock. I don't know.
Oh. But no, it looks great. Obviously the problem is it's black without enough like accenting. It doesn't, it fits into the bill what we're trying to do, but it doesn't feel as phasery as Trekkie. And it would honestly be very appropriate for any random dystopian movie as a normal gun. It's a it's a real gun with a little bit of sci-fi. Like it works as both, so I think that's why people like it. It's more grounded. It is a little bit silly that it's literally got off Beretta fire selectors as the only detail. Like that does look ridiculous, and you can't really justify it. It's just they wanted prop reuse. They wanted cheap pieces. They didn't think you'd know. Like they were being lazy, and it's sad. But it was made for 5, not 6, and they had less money on 5. Blah blah blah. So I wish those were anything else because they let it down. They look cool because they give something, but they let it down as a physical prop. I'd love to see it redesigned to kind of raise the bar for detailing. That said, the back is super TOS. The clip is actually quite interesting. Some people dislike it because it's too gun-like. Power packs and TOS. It's all good. Not a problem. Makes sense. I like the emitter a lot as well. So it's just, I'd make it less black, change those literal gun details, that lets it down, and then it'd be better. So it it reaches a high point for me and then pulls it down a little bit because of just laziness. Don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your thoughts on my thoughts, Mr. We disagree about this?
You are correct. I mean, the use of the Beretta safety and stuff, because it's literally just right there. It's from a Beretta 9mm, which I have a.
There's 3 back to back, which confused me. There's the same detail almost.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I could go get that one and show you the actual Beretta, but.
Well, yeah.
It's. I agree with you. It could stand to have some
refinement,
restyling. To make it more Star Trek, because like you said, it could be any dystopian, like future cop.
Oh God, you're perfect for that.
Yeah, like
space
PJ
cop.
Hooker in space.
Yeah.
But
the only thing that's missing though, to be brutally honest, Stuart, is make that front emitter red or blue.
No, you're stupid.
Obviously, this is an S, but I do think it could be improved.
Yeah,
that's my note there, because it's just awesome, and it's so well balanced.
I so want one of the real ones like you got, because they're expensive though, like $600.
Yeah, like I told the audience, it's missing. Mine doesn't have the plaque, and the packaging was damaged, so I got it for like just over half. So resale value, I can't sell for the full thing, but I wanted the prop.
Yeah,
exactly. And then the case shattered partially on the way here because it's a big case, so. Even less resale value, but I don't care. I just want the prop.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But this is actually really intrigued me now. Maybe because I've got 3D modeling friends. Maybe take this and like version to it, or even what would the standard version? If this is the assault phaser, how would you modify it?
Smaller, more portable, but
Well,
change some of these details. Yeah.
some more silver, right? Like that actually could be super interesting as a concept. Like take it like 80% and tweak it a bit. Could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just brought this in because we were talking about that. But this is flashlight.
Yeah. He be a fancy boy.
It does have a laser emitter, but I've got to change the battery.
Boy, a design you don't like until you own one, then you love it.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised rewatching Deep Space Nine how much they use this, even after like First Contact came out. They're still using these. They didn't change to the First Contact phaser rifle. All right. Oh, that's the last one. Oh.
All right, well, let's talk about the poll and wait for you guys. $5, any more phasers? We have lots to go. And I will challenge you all to find random one-offs that might be an F as well.
If you can find us an F, I'd be surprised. Let's put it that way.
I would like to know.
But anyway, go vote on the poll if you haven't already. 57 votes. It's, do you prefer the gun-style phaser or the TNG Nemesis-style phasers?
What's the current
Go
results?
vote.
Where are we at right now?
Right now, the Nemesis-style phaser is winning with 60%.
Interesting.
57 votes.
Interesting. It would have been fun though had there been some level of like backwards knowing of time. That was a weird way of saying it. As if they could do a TNG style phaser in the movies and a gun style phaser in TNG, but in the appropriate design language, to show that both designs were concurrent. They're just different ships had different preferences, right? Like what would a TNG but with the 6 details or the 5 or the 4 details, and then vice versa? That'd be really interesting to like see both stylings versus literally a swap and then a swap back, right? Because obviously we know why Star Trek Picard they had these back, because Picard said he hated the way of shooting the other phases on a gun back. It's like, oh okay, and that's then boom, now that's the back to that. It's like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
You know.
Schmo Buddy, $5. Uhura's phaser that she pulls out.
Ooh.
Pulls on Lieutenant Closet. And he helps Kirk steal the Enterprise.
Get in the closet. Yes.
This is another one of my favorites, which I also have one in the other room, but I didn't grab that. This thing is... Stop it!
Don't phase me, bro!
It's phasing me now, man. Consider me phased. This is a nice progression from the TOS design. It's way more sleeked out. It's way better than the Star Trek II design. Star Trek II tried to do something a little different. This kind of falls back in line with the TOS one. Like you can see this being a progression. It's got the nice phaser one on top there. You got the blue striping, which is like the fin details on the TOS one. It's got a little push button for the trigger, and very sleek and nicely styled. The handle at the bottom has a weird cutoff where it's kind of angled, but it looks really neat. And it's really comfortable to hold. This is one that when I was like 15, 16, made a prop of. It was a resin prop. I painted it up, and I still have it. I didn't get all the right colors on the buttons and stuff, but it's fine. It is a nice restyling of the TOS one to be along that line. Like the same manufacturer is obviously making these, and they've just kind of continued the lineage, right? So I really love this one.
Yeah, as if the Star Trek 2 phase, they kind of said, okay, we're done with you guys. We're going back to original contractor. We'll give them a chance.
Yeah, well, exactly. This one is also seen in Last Mission or Final Mission, whatever it was, the TNG episode with Wesley Crusher. The handle was wrapped in like burlap, though, to be like, oh, this is an older design. But it still holds up and looks really good in that episode, even though it's kind of banged up and scratched up a bit. It's just a neat design. I really like this one. This is one of my early favorite phasers growing up.
Once again, guys, $5, whatever. Throw it in and we'll discuss. There's no TNG classics yet. There's got a few. And as someone pointed out earlier to me, there are actually 3 TNG Cobra heads. There's the with display, without display, left and right.
Yeah, left and right. Yeah,
It'll be technical. And there's actually two relativity phases. Don't ask me to get pictures of both unless you really ask me to, but they're actually different because they built new props each time. So they're actually anyway. Yeah, this one's a funnier one. It looks disjointed because it is, but that's kind of the almost like a Swiss Army knife approach, right? Like the Star Trek 1 and 2 is so consistent with itself, right? I get it. This is, why is there a squared trigger with a curved front bit with a giant 2 that's sticking out? With like all these layers are kind of odd, and the handle looks weird. But I've obviously held it. It's great. It just looks weird. They love weird handles back in the day, don't they? They're trying to fight using a gun handle and put the 6 in another gun handle, right? Fair enough. Yeah. This has more of a tool feel. Like I'm looking at them now. We've got contrast. The Star Trek 1 and 2 to me feels more like a laser, like a sci-fi weapon. This gives a more tool vibe because it's kind of more rugged. Like there's no, obviously we don't see the top, but there's not really a button feeling. It has more of a simple tool feel. If you extrapolate elements, I keep seeing that the bit where it goes from being the harder edged hull of it to the emitter segment. I gotta assume that can like come out and replace the emitters, because whilst there's such a disparity of shape, why not continue that to the front, right? Like feels like there's a reason for that because it looks odd. Looks nice, but looks odd, right? Thoughts?
Yeah. You're kind of right. It does feel there's a lot of odd shapes going on from like the trigger assembly forward.
Yeah.
From that point on, just if you cut off the front of it, it's a very slick, interesting design based on the TOS kind of look. But the front, yeah, it does feel a little misproportioned. Not misproportioned.
No, not even misproportioned. Just disjointed.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. For sure.
And I'd really love to see if they continue the shell, so like encompass the emitter. It would look blander, but more consistent. Like this gives it a feel.
You know what it would look like? It would look like.
Oh God, yeah, we had this debate last time. Oh yeah.
Like that's just this design carried forward.
Even though it's before. Well, what about there if you make us talk about? It doesn't feel as militaristic, but it shouldn't do. It doesn't feel as sci-fi. It's such a weird hybrid. I think had they put a few more TOS details in, meaning the back rocker perhaps, or like little things, it would have been nice to have seen because it feels under detailed. Yeah.
I disagree. I like the overall look of this. The top looks really good, like the top of that Phaser 1, the way they have like the triangular shaped button with the little square light inside of it. And it's one of my favorite phasers, so I kind of have to. And Bryce says, the only shame with the Star Trek 3 phaser is why it shoots like a reverse tractor beam when Kirk fires at a Klingon on the Genesis planet. Well, it's like a stun push setting, so it's fine. They have multiple settings, right? Like there's at least 10 on the TOS phaser. So not just a stun, drop you where you are. It was a stun, throw you back kind of thing. And I have no problem with that. It's like we said, a tool. You could use it for multiple things. And yeah, that was the punch setting. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Are we going to agree where this goes, though? That's the question. Well, I kind of want to put it as an S tier, but like I said, personal preference, one of my favorites growing up. So
now, okay, because it's so interesting. You like compare it to, feels gross saying this. Compared to the JJ phaser in C, is far sleeker. But it's not trying to be sleek. That's why this is a hard thing to quote on, because it looks less sleek. It's not trying to look sleek. It looks like a tool, but it's less,
Yes, Bryce. Aha, so the double fist Kirk punch setting. Yes, the double axe handle to the chest setting is what it was.
Yeah, I'm interested what you all guys think about this.
We'll give them some options on where they can put it and have them.
Oh, it's S, A, or B, right? Like, it's not going to be C, D, or E, F.
Yeah.
It's so not used. Like, this thing was in one scene or two. Like, it was so, and then it was forgotten about, right? It's just not used as a piece of film. Everyone forgets about this as a design. As also the TMP phaser. It just came and went, and I'm appreciative them for doing it. Obviously, it's like I really like the Star Trek 4 communicator, the 4 and 5 with the blue internals, which actually blue and blue. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Vote now. I'm interested to see what you guys think.
Yeah, because the communicator from these movies, the detail on the inside of that is very similar to the detail on top of this one, color-wise and layout-wise.
I just realized.
So yeah, vote S, A, or B. Let us know what you think. And somebody, like I said, can lock it in with a super chat if you want to, wherever your tier you think it should be on.
And vote for the next one. We're almost done discussing this. Then you guys are up to you guys.
Yes.
Let me go look at it in the film as well. While people vote. Vote now!
Vote now! Do it. Like, if you haven't, vote in the poll.
Have you? What's our like status? How liked are we?
51 likes with 40 people here, which is really good.
It's pretty good, yeah, that's not bad.
I'm gonna get to 60 though. 9 more, come on.
And they never.
If you have another account, go sign into that.
Yeah, game the system. Now, did they ever make a hero version of this that you could buy, like a more faithful, scaled one? What's the best you could ever get for this?
Say that again. Sorry, I missed that.
What's the best version you could ever buy of this? Like, did they ever make a hero one, etc., etc.?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
There might have been a Roddenberry archive one, but I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, nothing springs to mind as
the one I have is the Diamond Select, and like I said, the one I bought way back when I was like in my teens at a Star Trek, one of the Toronto Star Trek conventions, that you had to assemble because it was like resin parts.
Yeah.
Actually, should I go get?
Yes, go.
Back. Hold on.
I'm gonna watch the. How's it look in the film? I wonder. Let me get this reference shot for you guys. We have 2 more. Superb, guys. We have loads more. Got just under an hour. Throw us some TNG. You know, because I like TNG phasers. I have several of them, and Stuart knows where I'm going to go with that. Oh, why is that not cropping? I should.
All right, so here's the Diamond Select one. That's what the top looks like. Love the light sequence on it, and you got the fire button here, the mode select here.
Definitely blockier vibing than the TMP one. Like, it feels more rustic, less sci-fi.
And then here's my resin one that I've had like since I said I was a teenager. Got the colors sort of right.
Oh, I like the blue in the inner.
The top, not so much.
I like the blue in the inner emitter. Oh wow,
these are almost exactly the same as far as size goes.
Oh, the Type 1's
one's a little smaller.
The Type 1's entirely differently scaled.
Yeah. But
now, are there clear shots in the movie to have got those reference pictures? I always wonder how early model makers would do it.
I don't know. That's a good question.
So this is a shot of Uhura in the film. Although there's only 2 moments with it, right? Kirk shooting Thingy-Mabobby and this. But I saw this picture and I thought they designed this for Nichelle Nichols' hands. Because you tend to write for the script, right? They said, need a phaser for Nichelle to hold. Let's make the trigger, let's make the handle small because you've got small hands. That looks really comfortable on a small hand. And maybe I wonder that's why the handle's so... Whereas the Star Trek 6 phaser, gloves. Well, no, I guess it's in 5, but I wonder, because it looks small. I wonder. What's the votes, though?
Oh my god! Okay.
That was too dramatic. Calm down.
Got an S tier, A or B, strong B, S tier, S for me, A, S. There. That's it.
I would have said a B if I have my say, because I think it's less sci-fi than A. But put it wherever you want to, Stuart. Happy with whatever you like.
Put it at A then. That's a compromise.
Okie dokie.
And if somebody wants to move it up, $5 super chat will do it.
Stuart,
Let's move it down to B if you want to appease the commander.
Or
do you care about appeasing the captain?
Oh dear. Which would be funny if you guys want to have a war of who loves who more. That'd be a bit rude. But, you know, how many arrows do you have to put in then? If it goes up, down, it's just constant arrows. Oh, goodness.
All right. Let's see what's next. Benjamin Stone, £5.
Thank you.
This is a hard challenge for an F. How about Star Trek, the animated series, Phaser Bore? What?
Okay. Now, is that unique? As in... Okay, I'm guessing you just mean the phaser.
Oh, I think he means something else.
Okay, let us know. So I found the phaser. Mr. Trying to be...
Oh, no, it's like a rifle.
Oh.
I'll send you a picture of
it.
it.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, that looks like the anti-Borg rifle from Elite Force.
Yeah, but look at the handles on it. Why are they orange? Anyway, yeah, that's a phase. That would fall in the phaser rifle category, Benjamin. If you want us to look at the animated phaser, we can.
Well, I think that's fair to throw in instead.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which I've never looked at in detail. So there is. I'm sure it changed between shots, right? Of course, there was no design. So that's a shot that I thought was more interesting. And I'll let you resize. What do we think? The TOS animated. Ooh.
Now this is funny because this is a lot like back in the day they had the Star Trek Adventure sets, which had a tricorder, a phaser, and a communicator, and it was like a model kit, and there were chunkier versions. I think they might have been going for this.
I also found this as well. This is the concept art, which has money. Apparently, the reference sheet version.
Wow.
I know. Let's go with that because that's apparently the design. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's a little bit chunkier than the TOS one. It's got a little bit more stout. It's chunkier. Mm-hmm. But I think because it's animated, you wouldn't get as close a look at it. And it wouldn't be as detailed. So, yeah. Let's move that off to the side and do this. So hopefully, Benjamin, we're fine looking at this one for you.
We'd never looked at it before, so it's a cool shout.
It's just a simplified version of the TOS one, and it's not even that different. I mean, the emitter's obviously simplified.
Well, you say that.
And the fins on the back are smaller. The handle doesn't look as angled.
But look at the comparison. The actual grip is way forward. The entire front is disproportioned, so they're almost right at the point at the front versus it's a lot less long. Wow.
Stubbier.
Yeah.
Stubbier but taller.
Because that reference, what? That's really interesting.
Yeah, and it feels like the adventure set. Like I said, which had weird proportions. Let me get a picture of that.
And it's interesting because I feel like this, at the time, a lot of people would have had this phaser in their home, the TOS one, because people were making kits. Like it was such a famous prop that, you know what I mean? I could get away with it, but people knew what it looked like. So this being so close yet so different is an interesting choice. I'm intrigued by this. Let's see what the chat is saying.
Yes.
Benjamin says that was more of a drill, so this is fine. Good, man. Thank you.
Yeah, here's the adventure set. Let me bring it up for you. Slides would not be...
Bradley says, looks like just based off the model kit. Maybe.
Yeah, here's the model kit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
My brothers my brother had this. My brother Steve, and yeah, everything was weirdly proportioned.
Tricorder doesn't look bad though.
Tricorder was an odd shape because the sides flared out. The sides, like you'll see when I zoom in, the sides do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like this model kit was based off the animated series, which would have made sense for the time that it came out.
Wow.
Because yeah, the animated tricorder also has those flared sides.
Yeah. The thing is, right, it looks comedic. It looks like a toy. It looks sillier. It's not designed with people in mind. And it shows you how the sleekness of the TOS one is impressive, right? It has something special. I think if this had been the toy, the design, it would not have had the same longevity, right?
Yeah.
All right, back to the animated then. But that's a very, very interesting find. Well done.
I remember playing with those a lot when I was a kid. I'm thinking, these don't really look like the ones in the show.
I mean, fair to say, this is a much worse TOS. But also, it's drawn out of, like, 12 lines, right? I would say D. Because I think it just looks... It's unbalanced to hell, and it's not a very good interpretation. But it's not F.
The answer is B.
What? But it... Oh, okay. Explain yourself.
Look how cool that looks. It looks awesome.
How? Wow. What?
They did to this phaser what they did to the Strange New Worlds Enterprise. Just changed some proportions.
Fucked it up, you mean?
No, this one I think looks kind of cool, actually.
Well, go with C compromise then, because... Yeah, sure, yeah, I mean, fine. Yeah, anything else in B will make this thing look silly. Because that's the problem, like, it contrasts with it not being a TOS one. Like, it just looks much... Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah. Wow. That's why we like doing this with you guys, because you make us look at this kind of stuff, which normally we wouldn't do.
I like curveballs.
All right. ISFJ 1009.
Good
$5. TNG Type 2 phaser. Handle is not as curved as Voyager phaser.
Now, we tend to go as the first in the line, so therefore the first TNG one, which is the one without the lights.
I'll let you do the...
Assuming there is that... Yes, there is. Okay. So this is Cobra Head Mark 1.
Yes.
Because the Cobra Head Mark 2. And this, of course, was a reaction to Dustbuster, which actually was way more interesting a prop. This thing is far simpler, right? Cobra Head had many lights, many emitters. This is far more simple and straightforward. But it's shockingly ergonomic. They all are, because they were built with people in mind. I've always quite liked this phaser far more than the how far power is it? LED there. That's always been the better one. But this to me represents the TNG got good. We've got a solid tool phaser, sleek but not too sleek design. Because
this is a left-handed one too. It's a left-handed grip.
Oh damn! They're both that, which seems unlikely. No. Yeah, it's a little bit bricky, but I feel like I understand it, right?
Yeah.
Especially as I'm sure in the logic of the show that rubber grip is actually a removable piece. The power pack's in there. You can just do something to take that off. The middle bit is the emitter, the back door. That's how you get things. Yeah, it's clean, it's simple, and it has a certain kind of like the Star Trek 6 phaser in a sense. It's not sleek because it's more robust. Like, it's not blocky. It's meant to take more punishment. Is how I look at this, right? With maybe we're understanding there's more difficult situations. We have to progress to a more robust design because maybe a piece was so long. La la la. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a almost perfect phaser in a way, just because it is.
Do I have to get mine out just to show people in person?
Sure.
Oh, dear me.
A lot of people have one similar to this because they have the Playmates version.
I'm gonna put you on speaker. So
oversized a tad. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, this has got a classic TNG look. It definitely, I think, improves on the Cricket phaser because it looks like a tool. It looks like, almost looks kind of sonic screwdriver-y in a weird sort of way. It has that multi-purpose feel to it as opposed to just being a weapon. Because at first glance, you wouldn't necessarily think this is a weapon. How many scanners and stuff do they have in TNG that are similar with different like controls on them? So I like this. I do prefer the one that comes later that has the little reading thing, the lights on it. That feels better to me. But this one was an interesting take because when it's on your belt, it doesn't look necessarily like a weapon. It feels like it could just be a tool, and that's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's got like what? This one has like 16 settings or something. I can't remember. But yeah, it feels like a futuristic tool, and that's kind of what you want, right? Like, weapons are great and all, but to have them look like a gun just seems kind of archaic at some point. And this feels like an advancement, and something that wouldn't necessarily come across as somebody that you're just meeting and you're the Federation, you're Starfleet, peace. You know, you don't want to. Why are you carrying weapons? Well, you wouldn't necessarily get that vibe from this. That's what I'm saying.
Is it a phaser or a flashlight?
Or a flashlight, yeah.
Flashlight. So I have two iterations because for all the props I bought, I've invested over the years. I have a hero prop, full lights and sounds, static prop. One was by Jerry and Stapleton, one was by Scott Nakada. And they are slightly different, as you can see. The black dots and everything else is slightly differently proportioned. Just white, all slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Different people, reflect different designs. It's kind of interesting how the same but different. It's obviously less comfortable than the Voyager one because that's like perfect comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's not uncomfortable, and it just your hand just finds its place.
Yeah, it's ergonomically designed. It's just great.
And I don't know why Riker Frakes has such a hard time pointing. You just do that. It's really easy. You just slightly dab. I mean, it's not maybe he had less weapons training than I have, which is almost none. But it's like you just right. No, it was good. And I realized it's such a simple idea for a design, but it adds so much like just depth. Who thought to do that, right? These little rib things that are like not symmetrical.
Yeah.
It's so random.
Captain Mines 5 said, "So glad you guys are still going. Helped me through a lot." Well, we've been here for 10 years, so I'm glad we helped you through a lot. Thank you for coming and joining us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it indeed, and we never know who watches these things. So anytime we can make a difference, we'd love to.
And to hear that we've helped somebody get through something, that's amazing. So, thank you for commenting.
Smallest thing ever, but I've looking. I would sort of trust this one slightly more, but it has the middle bit be all black, and then the rim here. The black is the entire inner. What do you prefer? Seeing some silver? Or see a rim of black. Do you know what I mean?
I prefer seeing some silver.
Me too. Yeah, it stands out more. It's real subtle, but it's like, that's such a...
Yeah. And that's what the one on screen even looks like. But you can see the silver.
That's so interesting.
So yeah.
But this thing is defined by the perfection of the Voyager one. It's less perfect, but it has a real robustness to it. Where are you thinking then? Where would you vote in this pantheon?
I wanted to say S for this one, but like you just said, I think you're going to say that it's probably an A because there's better ones. There's better iterations of this design.
Yes. Thing is, this is also a nostalgic one. It feels when it was made. The other one feels timeless because you can feel the limited production methods of the time. It's just, there's something about it that's like, you know what I mean? It's very subtly that. But let's see who is where.
Do your thing, girl.
You know what? I think we had the distinction last time. I'm going to say B for this because the emitter version takes her an A.
Okay. I'm going to trust you.
It's a very small distinction, but it looks so much better with that. It brings it to life. So that version, the first version, is a B because I want that contrast. Yeah.
All right. Schmo Buddy, $5. TNG Super Fathead one. I don't like it, but it says something to me as in my nightmares, so I must chat.
Super Fathead. I've never heard it described
It's
as that before.
The Dustbuster is what I think he's talking about.
What's it actually called?
Yeah, the Dustbuster. Now these actually are super comfortable to hold, but they are large. The emitters, it really bothers me because it sticks out so far and it's got such a concave kind of emitter. But that being said, they're super ergonomical, very nice to hold, and they feel really good in the hand, but they do look like a little Dustbuster, literally. And yeah, this is a good early step to what the one we just looked at, if we're honest. So
yeah, so I was gifted a pair of these in the same logic as a Hero and a Static, and as soon as you hold one that's the right scale, because I was very, it happened to be a very, very good one, it's like, oh, this kind of works, and again, if you compare to this, the amount of stuff going on, I mean, it's weird there's a giant space at the top, that is weird, right? But there's so much going on here that kind of, I mean, the emitter is glorious. It's techy, it's advanced, and I imagine, yeah, if the idea was we could barely see the little emitter, let's make it giant, we can definitely see. Like, yeah. I get it. But there's a weird contrast of the back is so simple. Like I said, adding this fixes that. Even though it's kind of got it. It just feels like a handle of, like, say, a Hoover. There's a reason for that, right? It has a certain weird straightness. Now, it's comfortable and it looks nice when you're holding it, because when you're holding it, that's removed from play, the handle, right? Mm-hmm. But no, they're fun. I appreciate them way more than when I started, and it's such a fun this to Voyager. Like, it's just like each time, because now we have it as looking back, but at the time they were thinking this is the best they could make. This was the advance. This was the new hero prop, right? No one's thinking, we'll do a less good one and we'll improve in 2 years. This is meant to be them pushing forward, right? And you can kind of feel the amount of tech that's in this to make the thing light up so bright. The emitter, like, there's a reason it's so big to fit in electronics, because they're pushing tech. Good for them, right? It just could add some more details. I'm not sure how, what, or where. And it would have been fun, like, as a little homage to this. Maybe see you in Voyager. Like, there's a cabinet somewhere with an old Star phaser still, and it's like this, but with some added features, right? Like the same star, but like the version 2. Would have been super interesting to see.
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery says, if a TOS phaser can destroy a building, then why does it need to be bigger and weirder looking? Because it's a different design corporation that's making them. Different. Yeah, they went with a different manufacturer.
I mean, take cars, right? A car can reach 90, 100 miles an hour 50 years ago. Why are we keeping new designs? People want to sell cars. There are people in research developments of stuff saying, hey guys, I have an idea for a new phaser. Oh, what can I do? Could become more comfortable. Okay. Power pack increased by 30%. Okay. Like, people are pitching ideas, right? And the best ideas come forward.
Yeah.
Or maybe, they find a mineral in the beta quadrant which makes their creation 50% less taxing on replicators. Like, well, why would we make the old one then? Let's make the new one.
Yeah, and the range on this thing could be like twice the range of the TOS one as far as firing at something on the horizon. Could also, like you said, the battery pack could be twice as long charge time.
Well, we've talked about that. Like, TOS has power packs. TNG has not got power packs. Like, in the sense of, you expect this to last as long as you need to.
Yeah.
There was never a sense of running out. TOS, not every episode, but like, it is a not unlimited device. Right? Yeah. So where are you thinking? Because it's such an interesting design, And you know what? $2, I'll get mine out. I got to grab it, but I do own one. I could do a direct comparison. $2 and I'll get it. Which is a very low bar.
I mean, I prefer the Cricket to this. I've never been a fan of these. Take that for what it's worth, but I don't know where to put it, because a lot of people do have a lot of love for this original design.
Okay, I don't know if anyone's this is their favorite phaser. You know what I mean? I've never met anybody who loves it. But how many people actually held a properly scaled one?
Well, exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, you get no appreciation for it.
Like we had a crash course on what things really were, and it changed all our perspectives. It really
the
changes.
Cardassian ones looks very uncomfortable to hold, but they're so nice.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
1870 off-road says, except for the first contact when they reloaded the phaser rifles. Well, yes, and Deep Space Nine, the Siege of AR, whatever, blah, 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 where they're running out of power packs left and right, which is just silly.
Well, in fairness, Nemesis, they do this, which is checking the power cell. We have no idea if there's no more contact, they don't reload it. And in the TNG, they were doing presumably really high-end fire to get through Dominion armor, so it wasn't like the normal, right? Like these things aren't designed to fire thousands of beams or hundreds of beams.
And Captain Minds at 5 says, I'll send you an email DM, so not to pollute the chat. Been a fan since your second year. Wow. I think you need to know how much your content honestly and genuinely personally is appreciated. Great work. Wish there was more people like you that would say that. After doing it for this long, you're like, should we keep doing it? It's just like, But thank you. We appreciate that. That was amazing.
You never know who is watching.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Very, very amazing.
And I've had recently, yesterday, had to look through some of our older videos, and I'm like, oh my good God. We've come a long way. In many different ways. And it's like, so to stick with us for that long through all of that cringe, I don't know. Thank you.
But just like the Dustbuster, it was good at the time.
It was great.
Okay.
I'm not gonna even suggest where to tier this.
Because, right, the detailing is great, the overall design isn't great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the problem. So I think for me, it's between C and B. It's got way more character than some of the stuff in C. But that's because it's just a phaser rather than a gun. And it's interesting. But it's not sleek, but it's not trying to be sleek.
Yeah. Well, Brian O'Neill Singleton throws in your $2. So, do you want to put it in C? Oh, he's gone. I'm going to put it in C for now because it's not one of my favorites. It's not generally accepted as a fan favorite. People either love it or they hate it. So I think C is a good average to get that problem solved somewhat. And if you disagree with me, you can move it. It's that simple. So you totally missed all my reasoning for why I put it in C.
Excellent. All right, so here's my Trek Shorts version.
Oh, nice.
That's been billed to me as being very accurate.
Yeah, and it's not as big as you'd expect, eh? It looks bigger visually, but it's the same fucking size. Wow.
And then compare and contrast.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, the emitter on that makes it feel more like a scanning device. But...
You know what I mean? It does not look bad.
It doesn't. No, you're right.
Perspective of proportion, lens choice. Because look at that emitter. Look how cool that looks in comparison. And it's way more the Trek... Anyway, the movies.
Yeah. Damn. It's actually pretty shocking how close in size they are.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not amazing, but it's just not as bulky. And also, once you open, like once you have the handle piece taken over, it feels different as well. Do like the little line detail.
Does it clean toilets?
Setting 4.
Captain Minds 5 says, nostalgia, born in 1981, says A tier for me, but it hasn't aged well in my opinion, especially with your other 10 entries.
Contrast.
Yeah.
Contrast.
All right, well, let's move on because we got another 20 minutes.
Oh god, guys, throw them in. Throw them in.
Ugh. All right.
Because there are more debates to be had.
Sergeant Montgomery throws in $5 and says, "Strange New Worlds phaser. It's like the difference between the 1970s Camaro and the 2024 Camaro." Just kidding, Captain. Yeah, I was going to make a comment, but...
You're going to bitch slap one of our officers.
I mean, all right, let's get that in here. It's right up here. Blah blah.
I would like the Factory Entertainment Hero one, but I'm not going to pay for it. You
It's
know,
expensive. Yeah, their shit's
I'd
expensive.
love to have a properly scaled one that's like, you know, it's right. I know my feelings would be different if I actually held one. But yes, Joe, what do you think? What you vibing?
So I've said it before and I'll say it again. This would be fantastic as a redesigned, reimagined JJ phaser for the 2009 film.
There'd been awards for how good it was if that was the case.
It would have been a lot more fan appreciation as well. Same with the Enterprise from Strange New Worlds. Just should have been in the 2009 movie. It takes the TOS one and it sleeks it, but it also uglifies it a little bit. The TOS one is much more of an elegant weapon, in my opinion. This one has a legitimate trigger. It doesn't have the little barrel cylinder trigger of the TOS one. The emitter's not quite as nice looking. I mean, it's the same look, just minus the clear part that sticks out the front. And the top is too smooth. There's not enough dynamicisness. I don't know.
Dynamicism, yeah, that's a Sam word.
Going
Not a
on.
good word.
But as a precursor to the TOS one, yeah, this is like that step going up to it, right? And I think that's fantastic. So if they're saying it's not the same phaser, it's just an earlier version, they did good. They did really good. They got the colors right. They got the look right. They got the feel right. But the TOS one is just, there's something about it that makes it more elegant and a little bit more stylish, in my opinion.
The problem is this is a phaser it's going for sleek, faithful. Like I think it's better to argue this looks like the one after the TOS phaser, because everything's smaller, thinner, sleeker, more advanced. It's lost the cool, like it's lost the designedness, but it's refined the designedness. Like it's more simple. So they're two different things. But that's actually interesting, and like I say, or even, let's be honest, if this was the assault phaser version, you know what I mean? Like it can do less, but it's smaller, it's more compact. You're not gonna, you know, it's always been silly having the flat bit at the front of the Type 1. Like, why is there a shape disparity, right? Just little things like that could be sleeked over. Having those rolling things at the top, why are they so bulky and out? So this makes sense, like an assault phaser. Cool. But is it too sleek? Kind of, right? But it is very nice looking, but it's not got the same charm.
Got the same issue the Enterprise does for Strange New Worlds. They took it, a good design, and went.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need to hold one because is it too sleek in person? So it almost feels too like.
I'm gonna wager no. Once you hold it, you'll be like, this feels really, really good.
But I feel like you'd be like, I've lost it. Like it's so thin profile.
It's also a lot less get caught.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it makes more sense than assault phaser. Yeah.
All right, where do you want to rank it?
He's pretty sexy though.
For me, it's probably an A.
Yep. It's nicer to me than the Solid 3 phaser.
Well, that's just wrong.
There we go.
Okay. Subraxis, 10 pounds.
Oh.
10 pounds. So thank you so much.
So much.
Ahoy, El Capitan and El Commandante. Sam, last week I chipped in 66 pounds to your GoFundMe campaign. Then I wrote off it on the video with your OG announcement, but the comment got deleted. Why? No cussing.
I've never deleted a comment on any Trek shorts. I don't do that, even ones that don't like me. So let me go look now. I don't do that. I think I like free speech, so I don't do that. Let me go look. Especially if you donate, that's great. But thank you. That everything helped with that, and guys, you did do an amazing job to help me with that. It really, really helped. Let me go look. I don't know what's going on.
And not you know we are not drinking in this one. Why do you jump in every time and say, are you drinking in this one? Drunk yards are few and far between, but they are fun.
Yes,
good to see you again.
Let's see.
Guys, hit that like button. We did hit the 60 likes that I wanted, which is great. And we have 84 votes in the poll. So if you haven't voted in the poll, go do so. As close to 100 would be great. As close as we can get. And Benjamin Stone, 5 pounds. How about the Discovery phaser rifle? Black brick with greeblies on the outside. Well, we're not looking at phaser rifles today again. So if you want to choose another one, feel free. And join us when we do look at the phaser rifles. I'll move on to the next one because we are starting to run low on time.
So all I see here is just a thumbs up on Thomas Mustang's. I guess it didn't go through. Nothing on the YouTube, on the personal page thing. Yeah, nothing. I guess it just didn't. YouTube didn't like it. Please comment again. Helps the algorithm, you know. Huh.
All right. So next up is ISFJ 1009, $2 Enterprise Phaser Pistol. Well, it's a phase pistol. It's not a phaser pistol. They didn't have full phasers yet. But yes, this is another one I have in the other room, and yeah, it's got like a break action top with like a power cell that slides in. Sam has one. I could go get mine too, but
I never put it away for some reason. Yeah, and it looks nicer than the 3 print there, which has some weird lines. Yeah, power back, which is cool. Yeah. I've always liked that. It's a cool. Yeah.
That's a little different than mine.
This is the one they use in Enterprise. It's that batch. So screen accurate. Way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got the diamond select.
It's great. It's not comfortable to hold though. The lines don't line up well with the hand for me. This is a very hard edge, and this kind of bumps in. If you want to have it, I got guys got big hands, but everything bumps up. It's never been comfortable to hold. You're always gonna go hold it down here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really not comfortable to hold. Yeah.
But I do like the look of it. I love that it's not a phaser yet. It is a phase pistol, which is combining both a gun and what will become phaser tech. So,
yeah, and obviously no, it should actually be black. Don't know. I mean, this is not. I should find a better picture. They got a few things wrong. And it's weird they have 2 different triggers. They have a TOS style button nipple and a main one. I've noticed that before. So it kind of does both. But you're wondering where do you, because you push it there, is not remotely usable. Like it's just whose hands is like that.
Is one trigger stun, the other trigger kill?
It's not comfortable. You have to really like shift your finger down.
Okay, I gotta go see what mine's like. Hold on, I'll be right back.
And like I say, in theory, this is meant to be accurate to Intimate Darkly because they liked them so much, so they signed off on these. But obviously, a real one would probably be different as well. Let me find a better. This was from a while ago. Let's have a look. Okay, that's slightly nicer. With old things that the resolution is never great.
Alright, so
black tip. That's weird.
Well, it's an orange tip. I painted it black because orange is stupid.
I painted mine silver.
And then yeah, it's got the power pack, which is not as big as yours. Different shape too.
Okay. My hinge is terrible as well.
It's loaded.
So yeah, that's an actual screen used one. How's yours to hold? Comfortable wise?
Really comfortable. It's a little bit small though. I think it's smaller than yours. Because my hand kind of covers the whole thing. And it's got both triggers, but they're just one trigger.
Yeah, mine's one too. It's just, it doesn't make sense. Like, the thumb just hits this. Like, why would you put that there? It's terrible placement. Yeah. Okay.
Anywho's.
I'm not going to judge it because I haven't got a real one. If I have a real one, it'll be slightly different, right? So I'm not going to take the toy version as an example of design because we can't judge that. No, it's nice. It's very sci-fi looking. It's kind of a phaser, kind of a generic sci-fi. It's kind of that nice meld between the two, right? It's just sort of silver blocky details with a curved hull, but it's like, oh yeah, that's Star Trek 6 phaser, right? You see elements. But I don't like the grip. In general, I think it's a very nice grip. Just in general, I never like the grip.
Sure, light up at all?
Well, not for. I mean, it's old. It should do.
Power pack lights up.
Oh yeah, because the this has been worn down over use, so it's whatever the word is.
Get it out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can.
Keep it stripped. Yeah.
There
Anyway, where are we gonna put this one? Because we're running out of time.
B?
Yeah, I was thinking B myself.
Not a confident B though. I guess yeah, B. Yeah. Like I'd love to see a proper expensive replica with like nice materials. Doesn't feel cheap because it also feels quite plasticky and cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes all the difference too. The materials.
Because my Dustbuster feels great. Like it's painted the right colors and interesting. All right.
All right. Brian O'Neill Singleton, $5. TNG firing button, intensity with width button. But how do you adjust up and down? Huh? This is like beep 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 beep, and you select, right?
Yeah. So each
two
click,
rows.
Yeah, each click in is a distinct power setting up or down, from stun to kill to blow up. But we'll take that as a look at the TNG season everything else version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing as the other one, but with more detailing. In fact, this one has numbers as well, even more so than my one. Because they make unique versions. You know, like this has the painted, but that's way more painted, etc., etc. Yeah, LEDs make all the difference. They give it depth, they give it breadth. Yeah, solid A. This is a great phaser.
It is, and I do like the display on it. The 2 rows of lights, I think, is a really nice touch.
And it's just proportioned really well, and just having just sort of raised platey bits, just instantly just fill in what. It's just implied detail, right? It's doing something. What's it doing? I mean, I assume it's this, this, and this. Perfect. Yeah, it's great.
A it is. All right, and then we've got 1870 Off-Road, $2. Ship videos filled with the Trek void from 2012 to 2018. Yeah, we were the only weekly Trek content at the time. We were very proud of that.
Yep.
That was before the announcement that Discovery was coming, before any new Trek was on the horizon.
Before the YouTube age, with all the other YouTubers.
For all the other, well, most of the other YouTube channels, yeah.
Because we did it for fun.
We did.
We didn't make enough to do anything with it for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years?
4 or 5, yeah.
It was entirely hobby for most of it.
Yeah.
No, not most, but yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. All right, we have last 3 minutes. Oh gosh, 3 minutes. I mean, let's talk about the Voyager one because that's the apex of my art design. But guys, we're only $22 away from something, so 4 5s, quick fire. There's loads of missing things here, right? There's some really cool one-offs like the Franklin phaser, the Kelvin phaser, Section 31 phaser, the TOS phaser,
frickin' phaser,
Jack Crusher's phaser, etc.
This will be one we will revisit because there's a lot of stuff that's not on the board right now.
And it'd be interesting one for all phasers. Like all hand weapons in Trek, because that would be different. I think when you start to have contrast, there might be some more, differentiation.
Yeah.
But yeah, throw in the best one, so at least it gets covered. Now this is, as I talked before, this is such one that everyone out there doesn't know this phaser. They think they know this phaser because they have a Playmates toy, and it's almost double as big. And it's fine, but it feels giant. This is a really small phaser. This is a really small phaser, Stuart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the grip is perfect. It's the most comfortable thing in the world. You don't even know you're holding it. Point is super easy.
Yeah. Barely an inconvenience.
Thank you. And it's just it's the perfect size for like it feels tiny but sleek and efficient. It does all the nice things that this one did with the dialing. Like now I've got a hero. Oh, this is the one it says. Yeah, and I love the fact that the holsters for this kind of suck. This it clips in beautifully, and it's always fun to be on set and be able to hold the holster and then pull it out. It's satisfying, Yeah, I mean this is until you hold it, you don't know how well designed it is.
Yeah,
because it's just really like even having this dip in slide to fit your other finger, and it's just comfortable. It's just so. And I'm sorry that no one can ever feel these, because there's so many resin versions, but these are all based on actual hero ones, so I know they're correct. And we've got a hero one as well.
This is not that one.
This is Nemesis, yeah, and that's an oversized one anyway, so that's a size.
Yeah,
ironically.
But yeah, the curve of the handle on that one is better than the TNG one, because that's more straight. This is the curve is better.
But the Nemesis one does change even more. I like less. This for me is the apex. And it just looks. I don't know. It's just a weird shape. But it's just so comfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the first contact one.
Nemesis.
Or Nemesis.
And it's just so fun to see the evolution. Like, look at the evolution that around from a stick, a flat stick, to a curved. It's the same thing, right? Even a line. Yeah, it's just so fun. Yeah. Love it.
All right, we got one more.
Oh, beautiful.
We'll call it quits. We got Benjamin Stone, 5 pounds. Last shot, Cal's phaser from Discovery. Cal's phaser?
Who's Cal?
I don't know.
Benjamin, who? What? Cal Kestis from Star Wars? Kal-El from Superman?
Do you mean Jack's phaser from Discovery?
Jack's not in Discovery.
That's Picard. Cal.
You've literally broken us. Does anyone know what he's talking about?
Let us know.
Please, we've got to finish live.
Got to wrap this up in like 4 minutes here, so. He's a minor.
I mean, there are minors till he saves, I think, in an episode. But guys, join us tomorrow for TNG Season 4 ranked review. We love those guys. We learn so much. I feel like we learn a lot about this show and the contrast, reviewing all the seasons one at a time in contrast to its own season. We've done season 1, 2, 3, and this will be 4. And we'll ask and answer the question, guys. Does TNG peak at 3 or does it get better? We've seen the score chart from yesterday. Very interesting. That's tomorrow. Join us on Trekyards. And as Stuart finds finishing, I'll end the poll as well. 92 votes. The question was, do you prefer the gun style phaser or the TNG phaser, etc., etc.? 60% go for the TNG style and 4% go for the gun style.
Okay, here it is. It's not Starfleet, so it doesn't really count for the list, but it's fine. Put her in. Come on. Let's go. There we go. Yep. Star Trek Discovery 2017, Cal's Hero Minor Phaser. Yep. Oh, look! I think maybe his objective was to give us an F. But it's not Starfleet or human, so it doesn't really count.
I'm so confused.
Right?
No. Yes. Okay. This is when Tilly finds replicable matter. It's that planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an F. We got an F on the board. Woohoo!
We did it. We did it.
Nice, Abraxas. One horse Shay. We're out of time. We'll come back and revisit these because there's a lot that haven't been looked at. So, but yeah, as Sam said, join us tomorrow for our live ranking season 4 of TNG episodes, which is always fun. Yesterday was great, which is season 3. Tomorrow, season 4. And join us for that. It'll be great.
I am quite interested in what we're going to...
Maybe we'll continue this one next week with part 2. Because there's enough for at least another live with this.
I mean, no one put in a single TOS Type 1. I mean, there's various Type 1s. There'd be plenty.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we often do rate simple as being good. It just depends how simple and how good. Okay. How do you feel about the chart, though, Stuart?
Fairly happy with it. Fairly happy with it.
Very nice, very nice.
Might need some little minor shuffling next time we visit it, but yeah. Other than that, it's feeling pretty good.
Weirdly, I think if both of us were to hold them, the actual original prop for each thing, this would be a different chart.
Yeah.
Across the board. Because you don't have the context until, like, you know. Now I've got a collection of phasers, right? I can, are you obviously impressed by Dustbuster, right? Like, this would be different if you physically held them.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
On that note, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, he is Commander Cocking.
He's got a Foley.